12 seconds to go in the game. Niners lead by 4. He'll fire to the right side.
Hey guys, what's up? JLC back here again. It's time to check out the injury report for the Dolphins game. So I'll start off with the Vikings, and as you'll see for both teams, we're as healthy as you could be for this time of the year. So let's look at some players that are in, that were kind of on the bubble from what we saw last week. So start off with Trey Waynes, who had his concussion. He was out last week, but he should be good to go this week. He was limited on practice on Wednesday, but fully participated both Thursday and Friday, so he's good to go. Expect him to be 100%. Next, Xavier Rhodes, dinged up a couple weeks ago with his hip injury. Full participation in practice all week. He is good to go. Brian O'Neill, a rookie offensive tackle, had his ankle injury, got rolled up on last week, looked pretty serious on the field, limped off, didn't look very good, but must have been a shade of luck for the Vikings. Whenever you see a player, you need a little help off the field, you expect him to be done for the year, but O'Neill's a tough kid, limited on Wednesday, full participation both Wednesday and Thursday. He should be good to go. So that will do it as far as the players that are for sure in. So let's look at the players that are questionable. Starting off with defensive tackle, the number 2 prized acquisition this offseason, Sheldon Richardson. Hip injury, was limited all week in practice. He is listed as questionable. So if he cannot play, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because I would list defensive tackle as probably the number 1 position of depth for the Vikings. Tom Johnson can come in and play for Sheldon as well as anybody, so I would be fine if he can't play, and if he does, I would expect it a little bit more of a rotation, which we already have a pretty big one at defensive tackle, and we shouldn't be a big drop of talent there whatsoever. So whatever. Next, Mike Remmers, lower back injury, limited all week in practice, is questionable for this game. Mike Remmers has been so poor at right guard, so I'm fine if Danny Isidora comes in. That's actually what I'm kind of hoping for. And maybe if Danny Isidora can play a good game, maybe the Vikings will say, screw it, stop this Mike Remmers at guard experiment, and we'll go on with Danny Isidora at right guard. He's probably the best option there, because we need more guys that can be more consistent, and Mike Remmers is so clear playing out of position. He was a solid right tackle for the Vikings last year. Now they said, screw it, we're going to put him out of position. Now he's sucking. That's what I'm looking for there. I want some Danny Isidora at right guard. Moving on, David Morgan's missed the last couple of weeks, about 4 weeks in a row. Our tight end, our run blocking tight end, maybe our best run blocker on the team, yes, offensive lineman included. David Morgan limited in practice all week with his knee injury, and is questionable to return in this game. This is huge. It looked really bad when he was hurt, and if he's almost 100% coming this week, even if he doesn't play, I would expect him to be 100%, or as far as you expect 100% for football players come playoffs. So that's really, really huge for the Vikings. David Morgan is one of the biggest keys to the Vikings run blocking success. Spring Dalvin for those big runs, and this would be a huge game to get him back and get their offense going with 2 solid tight ends, because Tyler Conklin's low-key pretty trash. Moving on. One player is out, and that's Chad Beebe. Unfortunate, because he looks like the one guy that I could see as taking the control as that number 3 receiver, because both Treadwell and Robinson have fumbled around with that. So Chad Beebe, in his limited playing time, has looked very good and looked like that number 3 playmaker the Vikings need out there. So it sucks that he's not good to go again, but he looks like he's getting pretty close. He did not participate on Wednesday, but was limited the rest of the week. Now, limited is such a gray area way to talk about someone in practice, because it could say you played in 2 plays, or it could you said it played in all but 2 plays. So it's a pretty interesting word there, but he's out this week, so hopefully maybe by playoff time he'd be good to go, because the Vikings need all the weapons they can get. But overall, only one player is out out of our 53-man roster, so I will take it. And let's get into the Dolphins. Like I said, they're about as healthy as the Vikings. They only have 2 players on their injury report with an injury designation, so not starting off doubtful is their starting corner. One solid corner, Xavier Howard, with a knee injury, did not participate all week in practice. He is doubtful for this game, which is huge. Whenever there's a cornerback hurt against the Vikings, 2 of the best receivers in the league, 2 top 10s, and when you have one of your best corners out, that's been pretty bad news. A lot of teams have been double teaming one and double teaming the other, which works, but doesn't work as well if you just throw 2 scrubs on somebody. It's not going to work as well. So, good news for the Vikings, and we'll see if we can take advantage of that. Stefanski, please do something with that. Also, their starting safety, TJ McDonald, hit the ankle injury. He was limited all week in practice, and he is questionable for this game. So another defensive starter in the back end in that secondary is hurt. Questionable, of course, is more of a 50-50. We're doubtful is about 75% chance he won't play. But if they both are out, huge, horrible news for the Dolphins. If you don't have 2 of your starters on the defensive backfield, you are potential to look like the Packers. So if that's the case, really bad news for the Dolphins, and Kirk Cousins will hopefully rip him apart, but he's been so mediocre lately. Who even knows? Also, they have some other players on here that I'll cover quickly. Danny Amendola, their number 1 receiver, and has a knee injury, but he did not participate on Wednesday and was limited the rest of the week. He should be able to play, but he'll probably be slowed down a little bit, and expecting to be out a couple plays more than usual. And going down, we have Devontae Parker, their other receiver. Shoulder injury, was limited all on Wednesday and Thursday. Fully participated on Friday. He should be good to go. So 2 players that are hurt from the receiving game, and their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, who was awful, by the way, shoulder and an ankle injury, was limited all week in practice. So I guess bad news for the Dolphins. He's one of those quarterbacks that are so bad anyway, so backup's probably just as bad. But give me your thoughts on the injury report in the comment section down below. And we'll probably have to do a 2-for video tomorrow because, my God, finals week killed me. See you guys then.